Hi ladies, how are you? Let me make sure we're in the group. Let me see. I see the video of the chair earlier. You know what I was thinking is we could probably, my hair is so crazy. We could probably paint a little of that together too because it has a wood deck we're gonna do. So let me see on that painting. I'm still not in here. Hold on. I've posted a lot lately. I'm sorry. Let me see. Okay, there we go. So say hi if you're on. See if you made it from the live on the regular page over. So say hello. I'm going to turn this off and we'll paint some wood together today. Hope you're all doing great. Let me refresh again. Let me see. Is it as hot as all get out where you're at? Because it's hot here. So I'm really cooling off at night too well. Let me see. Hi, Lynn. How are you? I hope you're having a great day. And Lynn, thank you so much for the beautiful card. Thank you so much. And I'm very sorry again. Thank you so much. I'm very touched that you took the time to write such a beautiful card. So thank you. Hi, Paula. Hi, Phyllis. How are you? Is everybody doing okay? Did you have a fun weekend? Did you get to do anything fun? I got to see my daughter yesterday, so I was really excited about that. We met in Erie, so I think next time we'll go a little bit further. It was 2.5 hours for her, like an hour and 45 minutes for us, so it took her a little bit longer, so maybe we'll go a little further the next time. So it was beautiful out. We couldn't stay as long as I wanted to. My back was giving me trouble. I couldn't walk real well yesterday. It was affecting my legs. I couldn't feel my legs. And so feeling a little bit better today. So I'm thankful. I think the pressure from the weather changing so much is affecting my spinal cord. So anyway, but we had a nice time. We did. But you guys ready to paint some wood together? I share so much. I'm sorry. Let me see. I wasn't seeing everybody. Hello, Mary. I had to refresh. Hi, Deborah. How are you? So we're going to paint some wood together. So I don't know if you looked at the schedule for the month, but this is a painting I'm going to paint with you starting next week. We're going to start on my birthday. My birthday's Tuesday. I was looking at that today. I'm like, I didn't even realize that. And because my daughter wanted to come home for my birthday. And I was like, hi, Tracy Elsie. How are you, my friend? Hi, Susan. How are you? And then Susan Montgomery, she's going to be here from Florida for a month. So she's going to start coming for classes starting this Saturday. She's going to do the barrel pumpkins with us. And then we have Linda Baker flying in too from Minnesota. I'm pretty excited. But we're going to do this together. But I have it here because I'm going to show you how to make a fence. It's so easy. You'll be shocked. But we're going to paint this together in the membership this month. So take a look at the schedule if you haven't already. Thank you so much for the kit for the fundraiser. You're very welcome. I hope the fundraiser goes great. And I hope they love it. So, and sorry I didn't get to see you when you picked them up. So, but we're going to do that. But this has some wood. I'm going to film this in the next day or so. We have this in the studio on Friday at the studio, but Debbie's teaching it for me because my friend Chrissy, her parents had passed away in an accident, and she had bought them Eric Clapton tickets for their birthday, and so my dad and I are going with her on Friday. But I'm gonna film this for you guys as well. Debbie needs it for in the studio also, so this is gonna be done very soon. I wanted to bring this home with me and I forgot. I took all the paintings back to the studio for the fact that we had a huge bridal shower on there. Thanks so much, Tracy. I appreciate it. And I wanted to have all the paintings back in there. The one with the pumpkins, it's the floral arrangement on wood. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. This is the one that I showed you guys today with the chair, explained why the chair is in there first. But this is going to be the same exact technique that I'm showing you as well. Okay, so, but I'm going to keep it here because I think I'm going to paint some of this with you. I think I'm going to do like an old, like gray down deck. So like it's been beat up, in the sun forever. And so I'll do a little bit of that with you. But I actually can't wait to get my hands on this. And I probably won't be able to I don't even know if I'll get to do it tomorrow night because I have one of the schools. I teach for some schools their art classes, and they come to the studio. Like they bus them there, and so the one that starts tomorrow for the whole year, they come every Wednesday, and so that starts tomorrow, and it's very exciting. I love to work with them and get to know all the children, and of course, there's going to be children that came last year. It was our first year of working with this one school, last year, and I truly enjoyed it. And it's a school where a lot of troubled children go that have very difficult lives also, and so we love to make connections with them. I know I do, and to give them something that lifts them up, and so it's a passion of mine, so I love that too. Let me see. I don't know why, like I have to keep refreshing to see anything, but let's see what we should do first. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Susan Brayton, weather decking is so cool. Yeah, so we're going to put that together today. Hi, Diana. How are you? Thanks for jumping on. It isn't like, I don't know why I'm having to refresh. Carolyn, hi again. How are you doing, Diana? Diana, let me know if, hi, Stacy. How are you? You're painting beautifully. You've been very busy. I love to see it. Diana, let me know if you're able to find everything in your membership, okay? So let me know if you had any trouble, if you got into your library. Email us if you haven't, okay? Also, if you haven't jumped over to the Witches Night Out, join that. For HQ members, that's free. So make sure you go over to that group, and I'll put the group. Let me just put it in here so you guys know. Witches, let me see. Here it is. Witches Night. Yeah. There it is. So I'm going to put that in there so you can hop on over to that too. Not right now, but afterwards. Okay, so I put like a bunch of paints on my canvas, or on my plate. I can't even talk. I also got like a piece of wood that's painted black. I don't know if you saw for the studio that we did, and I'm going to film this for you too, the new texture beach painting that has the netting on it and the seashells leaning up against the wall. We took a palette that had 3 slats and we painted it black. And we made wood on that, and we made like a teal color. We used the phthalo blue-green shade, and maybe I'll grab that and put it on my plate and show you that wood on here. Maybe I'll show you that first. Anybody want to see that, like a beachy wood? Do you guys want to see that? Joining in now. Oh, good. Hi, Robin. How are you? Anybody see that painting? I wish I had like all the paintings here to reference, but I'm just going to do it. Let me make sure that I didn't miss anything. You got in there. Let me see. Saying everything in my decision. Saying everything in my decision. I don't know what that is, Diana. Write us and let us know if you're having in trouble, because you should have the whole vault and everything inside the membership on the left side after you log into your library. So let us know if you're having any trouble, okay? All right, so what should we start with first? And you know, just this little bit of wood, it has some gold on it for the flower card, so I can show you that if you want me to do that first. And then we'll just move from there. How's that? Okay. So, Gwen, hi, how are you? Okay, so I'm going to, let's do a little bit of the wood like on the flower cart first. It has a little bit of gold on it. And it's not as cracked. It's like it's not as like old looking, I guess is what I want to say. So whenever you're painting wood too, you want to make sure, like I grabbed a 1/2 inch flat. You want to make sure that it's like, it's not frayed, it's not wide. You need a nice thin tip on it. So make sure that you have a decent brush. You know, this is our 1/2 inch flat. I like these. These are really economical. They're like a little stiffer. Like I like, I'll put a link in there. These are on Amazon and they come in, I think like 12 packs. And they're so economical. We're putting them in our brush kits now too. Hi, Katrina Pratt. How are you? Hi, Lisa. So nice to see you guys. Hi, Lynn. How are you? Oh, you just love the painting. Yay, Stacy. I'm filming it for you. Don't worry. I'm going to send you the link as soon as it uploads in the searchy right after I film it. I wanted to get it done for you last night, but I was not doing well with my back with that heat and everything. So I didn't get to do it. So I was really bummed, you know. But I'll get to do it soon. And I know like Debbie at the studio is waiting for it too, because she's going to teach it for me on Friday, and she likes to like just double check everything. So I'm going to do part of that first. So let's do part of that first. Let's get a chalk pencil. Do I have an eraser anywhere? I've had so much stuff on and off my desk today. I do have an eraser in case I need it, although I just usually just wipe it out, right? So here, I'll just draw a couple slats. But one thing I want to talk about when you're making wood is that when you have something like, you know, in front of it, it's going to be shadowed. See how that's dark, like on that side? So you're going to leave a little bit of shadow there. Or you can put the shadow back in. But I'm going to show you that, okay? A lot of times, too, you can highlight with a little bit of white after the gold as well. Or you can mix a little white in with the gold, okay? So I'm going to, let me get a canvas to throw up back behind here really quick. Hold on 1 second. Hi, buddy. 1 second. Hi, bud. My dog's like, are you going to start painting today? He sits there and stares at me. I think he just thinks about like eating and sleeping. Okay, so when I'm drawing lines, you'll see a lot of times like I'm like this, you know. So say, you know, let's do a couple of slats on the cart. All right, so we have little lines here, and say we have like our little board that's on the ends, okay? So I'm going to show you how to like, I'm going to show you how to shadow this, okay? As well, because that's important when you're making wood, to make it look like, look three-dimensional, okay? So we're gonna put that in. I'm not in that big of a hurry, I promise. Okay, good. Thank you so much, Stace. You're so nice. Hi from Tennessee. Hi, Ann. Thanks for joining us. Girl, take care of yourself. Thanks, Stacy. Yeah, I don't know. Hi, Polly. How are you? Thanks for joining us. I don't know what's going on. I haven't lost feeling in my legs for a while. I mean, they get tingly, but not like yesterday. I was like, oh my goodness. So I think a lot of it's pressure with the weather change. So I just have a couple different colors on here. You don't have to use all these, of course, but I wanted to change up some of the wood looks so you can see different, you know, colors and different, you know, because there's all different woods. So there's a little Van Dyke brown, raw sienna. I put a little yellow ochre here. My bird sienna was a little dry, so it's a little stiff there. I put a little bit of beige, Lucas beige, you know. So also for the new members, the only thing that you don't have to use the paints that we use. Craft paints are fine also, but try to get a thick white. Like we have I use Lucas or Creative Inspirations, but there's a lot of thick whites out there, but try to use a thick white because it's very helpful in building our paintings, especially with dry brushing and things like that. I put a gold on here. I put a bronze gold. If you ever wanted to make something look bronze gold, just add some dark brown to your, you know, metallic gold. And I have some black on here, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull out a little bit of my raw sienna, maybe a little bit of my white, and I generally put a couple different colors on my brush at one time. Always when you get white, tap it off. Or if you're loading your brush with multiple colors, make sure you tap it off, because if you don't, you're only gonna get the color that's on the outside. I always think also, like I have to turn this sideways to get a good line. So this is our cart, okay? I'm making it smaller because I want to show you multiple things tonight, not keep you forever. But I'm going to show you how to do this. We always have to think of where the light's hitting first. So the light's hitting at the, you know, the top part of the board, maybe a little bit more on the center, and then you take your pressure off as you're going down. You can always, you want to leave the chalk line, but don't leave like a gaping amount of black around the chalk line, okay? And then what we do is we'll come back with black afterwards. But I do have to turn it this way to get my best line. So anytime that I'm starting to paint, I'm starting at the top because the brighter paint is on my brush, you know. And so I want to start at the top, and I'm using this part of the brush. You see, like this part right here, okay? Not straight up and down, it's a little angled, all right? Not a ton of paint. So now that I have that a little bit brighter on there, I'm gonna get some of my browns. I still have white on my brush. I don't have a lot of water. And what I'm gonna do, this is the lightest touch. So if you're new to painting, don't press hard. You're also lifting off every single stroke. You're lifting off. So I'm gonna grab a little bit more of my brown, like my dark brown and my light brown, and I'm gonna lightly scuff through this. I'm using the skinny part of the brush, okay? And so on the sides, I want to barely touch it because I want some of that darkness to show through. I need a little bit of paint there, but don't go there until your paintbrush is almost empty, okay? Almost empty, like there's hardly anything in it, all right? I will come back and I'll highlight this. We're gonna build it up, okay? So I have to keep refreshing. Usually the comments just like flip up, but I have to keep refreshing. But if I miss it, I'm gonna come back and I'll answer it after our live, okay? All right, so I'm going to go to my next slat, all right? We're gonna let that dry. I'm gonna go right under the chalk line with my brighter colors. I'm gonna take my pressure off as I go down, okay? If you wanna make it look like old wood, you can leave some of the black showing, or you can put the black back in also, okay? So I'm not going over the sides or the bottom until I'm almost out of paint, all right? Scuff, scuff, scuff. This is such a good thing for you to learn because, I mean, how many times do we like paint wood in something? Like, it's often. I have a ton of paintings in the studio that have wood in them, and you have some new ones that are coming up. I can think of a few off the top of my head that have wood in them. So, and then come Christmas, I do put wood in, you know, it just happens. So I'm gonna go to my third plank, okay? Leave a little bit of black. So also, like where you're leaving that black, if it's old wood, it can be wonky. Like when you do fences especially, like if you're doing like a, you know, fence that's all connected together, a lot of times like the slats in between are wonky, like they're not perfectly straight. So keep that in mind that, you know, they don't have to be perfectly straight. And I don't really like working with straight lines. I don't know if you guys ever heard of, like years ago, I think it was 6 years ago, maybe, I don't know, 7 years ago. And it was when my son was sick and I started like drawing people's, you know, children to thank them for helping us. Like, I think it was, gosh, 4th years of his illness, and we were either in the hospital or we were in home health care in the living room, you know. And so I started doing that. Well, then someone commissioned me when he got better to paint, a close friend of mine, to paint their 3 kids in all different sports, and I did it. But let me tell you, the one with the basketball court and all the lines almost put me over the edge. And so I was like, no more lines. Someone asked me, could she do their parents standing in front of their old house, you know, back, the black and white. And I was like, no, the house has lines, I'm not doing it. So I don't prefer to do really straight lines. So I'm gonna go to the top again, and I'm just gonna lightly scuff a little bit of white, taking my pressure off as I go down, okay? So we're gonna go a little bit brighter towards the top, lifting off, okay? Now if you have something hanging over that, it's going to be a little bit, it's a little too much paint. I'm using very little paint, as you can see, like very little. Light touch. Every single touch I make is lifting off, okay? Light touch. And then even when you have a dark, you know, darkness at the bottom of something, you still have to get a tiny hint of light down there so your eye knows when that starts, where that starts and stops. So just a little hair of that, okay? This will look better once we have the gold. And then also, once we put black where our chalk lines are. I want to bring this over just a little bit further. Okay, just a little bit. And then we'll do the sides, and I'll show you how, like, you make that brighter to make it look like, hi, Gretchen. Hi, Carrie. How are you? Hi, Laura. How are you? Wood is hard to paint. We'll get it, Laura, I promise. Oh, hi, Lynn. How are you? She's from Massachusetts. Thank you for coming on tonight and joining us. Okay, so remember, whenever we make something brighter, it looks like it's closer to us. So if you wanted to, you know, put these pieces of wood that are tacked on the outside of these pieces of wood, they're closer to you. They're going to be brighter, A, because the light's hitting them, B, because they're closer to you, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to get our colors that we're working with. You know, I like to get all 3. Remember, always tap off your white. Always, always, okay? So say the light's hitting this edge more, like the light's coming down from over here. I need a little bit more paint. And I'm gonna go go straight up and down like this, and I'm going to take my pressure off as I'm coming over here. So always start on the side that the light is hitting, okay? And that way your paint will come off, you know, when you're on that side, like your brightest paint, okay? And I'm just gonna pull the smallest amount. Look at my piles on the side, small amount of paint. A lot of people wanna use, that's too much white. A lot of people wanna use a lot of paint. This is the smallest amount of paint because you want this black canvas to work for you. So you want to be able to show those low lights in there. The only way to do that is to use small amounts of paint and build this up. You can always put in your cracks again too, so don't worry about that. I'm going to show you how to do that if you want to make it old and rustic looking. So don't worry, like it's all fixable. But for those of you that jumped on, I'll show you the chair too that I worked on for a very short time today. Listen, I wasn't even going to touch that today, and I was sending something out to Deborah, and she had won that pumpkins painting, and it was in one of those emails, her address that we didn't get, you know, until this last week. And so I wanted to paint her a sunflower on there. And so I got my paints out. I was like, oh, those are the same colors as wood. And so I was like, let me just get that chair in real quick. Too funny. But anyway, so I'm scuffing. See how you can leave some of the black, but I'm going to show you how to put it in too. Lifting off, lifting off. So whenever you're making these lines, don't make lines that are like directly right next to each other. If you start and stop at the same place, you're going to build blocks everywhere. We don't want blocks everywhere, okay? So you have to start and stop in different places, okay? And then also, don't go to where it's shadowed until you're almost out of paint on your brush. Like I'm not coming down towards the bottom, so I'm almost out of paint. You're leaving black, like you're going, like leaving that chalk line. So that's gonna be black. You can wipe that out or we can put black in there, okay? So we have that. So once we have that in, you could either, like say you need to add some cracks in. Wiped off my brush. I'm gonna flatten it out. You have to use like a really flat brush, skinny flat brush, okay? And what you can do is you can scuff these in. All right, so if you needed to get more black in here, you can scuff in some lines. Again, you don't want to make them so they're right next to each other. You can also, if you wanted to paint like where your chalk lines are instead of wipe them out with a damp towel afterwards, you can always just go through that. Generally, you want a little bit of paint in your water if your black is not thin, okay? So I'm gonna pull this over a little because I feel like I lost my shadow there. So I'm gonna lift off and pull that over a little. But do you see how this is in front of this, okay? So then I'm going to go in between these slats. See how easy the cart's gonna be when you paint the flower cart? It'd be easy peasy. So I am going to wash my brush now, okay? And we're going to get some gold. Love the chair. Thanks, Dana. Hello again. Hi, Pam. How are you? Let me see. Lynn Marie. Hi, Susan. Westminster, Massachusetts. Are you guys near each other? Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit of gold. So I give a gold talk all the time. Don't cover all your work with your gold. I know we love gold, but a lot of times we're using it as a highlight or a low light. So don't cover everything you've done. Look how thin it is, okay? So I have gold on this other flower card. So what I want to do is just lightly brush it. Lightly. Just a little shimmer. See it? It's very light, but it does change it completely. So if you have too much, just wipe it off. You can wipe it off a little bit with your paint towel. A lot of times I don't get my perspective until I put this upright like this, so that's why I'm doing it, you know, instead of painting it, you know, on the side like I generally do. But you just want to get a couple little, you know, little highlights in here. I think it really adds to it, makes it look warm. I actually think it made the flower cart like look really beautiful. And I'll pull that down and show you in a second. So see how the wood changes it quite a bit. There's a lot of light on there, so. And then when it's all dry, all you have to do is like, you know, wipe out all your chalk marks in there. Just like that. So this is how easy it is to put this in. So you guys, you'll do great. Are the flowers in the cart difficult or just time consuming? They're not hard at all. Every single one of these, I can't wait for you to see it. Can't wait to get the flower cart. Yay! I've been working on the barrel with the pumpkins before puppies, a fun painting. Oh, I'm so glad, Dina. I can't wait to see it. And can you please post pictures of your puppies? Oh, thanks, Lynn. Whenever your dog has puppies, 10 puppies. Oh my gosh, you're going to be so busy. If you look at this up close, it's messy. I did the easiest flowers, loosest flowers that you could do in here. So it is not hard at all, okay? You just need a small round brush. Look at the centers, brown, little bit of white on the top, just white little, you know, lines, yellow little lines coming around for the daisies. Everything is real simple. All this is like all just dotted in. These are dotted in bundles, a little bit of white on the tip. Everything's easy. We've taught you leaves before. This is with the small round brush. Those are real simple too, especially when they're really small, very few strokes. But this is all about the light. This is all about having contrast, all about the light. But if you look at this closely, it's messy. And it's all about, you know, I think too, it's about your arrangement too. You know what I mean? Making sure that you have darks and lights and it's spread throughout. So, I can't wait to paint this with you. But so that's an example of the cart, okay? I'm going to give you another example on this painting, all right? So I'm going to go to a bigger brush because it makes it easier. I'm going to show you how to make like a wood wall, okay? So, because we have that behind things. What did I paint? Oh, the barrel pumpkins that you have right now is just like that. So, Dina, what Dina's painting, too bad we can't put her on. So I'm going to get a little Van Dyke brown. I'm going to get a little bit of my raw sienna, maybe a little bit of white. Sometimes I add, like I'll add a little bit of my burnt sienna in there. If you don't have, you sure will. Last litter had 8. Puppies are cute little marshmallows. I agree. My dad raised dogs growing up and I love them so much, you know. So what we're going to do is say we're going to pick one area, we're going to make it a plank, okay? Let me move this up just a little bit. There you go. Well, not quite to the top. I wish I had this over a little so I can do more than one. So I'm using the skinny part. This is my 1-inch flat brush, okay? And it flattens out real nice as well, all right? So watered down paint because you want this. We're not dry brushing for a change, right? I do things other than dry brushing, I promise. And so I'm using the skinny part of my brush. A lot of times, like the plank right next to the part of the plank right next to the gap is where my brush is splitting. So what I do is I wiggle it at the base and then I'll tap it off, okay? So I'm using a little bit of water. I have to correct that because of my splitting brush. So it dried very poorly. I didn't get the water out. So this is a good chance to show you how to add your lowlights back in. So it's not a big deal that this is all split like this. I don't mind. But I will probably switch my brush because I don't want to keep fixing it. So I'm going to throw that in the cup. We're going to go to one that's not split at all. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my paints. You need a little bit of water. Okay. You want anything you need to go on long, long strokes. You want to make sure that you have water, okay? Not too much, but I want to get a couple different tones in here. So what I'm going to do is just get the colors in. When I'm working in a big area like this, I generally get this in and then I go back and add the cracks back in just because I like the quickest way to paint it, I still let some of the black show through. Okay, so I'm going to get just some raw sienna, but I like to build it up just a little bit on the bottom. This is so easy to do too. I think the very first, I don't know if it was the first painting I did, but the very first with this dark colored wood, it wasn't the first painting by far, but I mean, first like dark wood painting was, did you guys ever see the coffee painting? Did you ever see that? So we work with Dunkin' Donuts corporate, and they own like a ton of Dunkin' Donuts, and puppies are the cutest. Hi, Cindy Wolf. How are you? How's your dog doing? But so we did a lot of corporate painting classes for them, team building classes for them, and I did a coffee one, and I actually had coffee beans on it. I don't know if we ever filmed it, but it was a real hit. Like we had to then, like a lot of people wanted classes outside of them, and it says more coffee on it, and it has real beans on it, so it smelled good for a long time. So I'm just getting a couple like lighter colors. We can put gold on this as well, but it had this color wood on it. We've done a lot since, but and this is where I was talking about, if you're doing wood like this, your slat in between, like that dark area in between the two slats, can be wonky. Because I know, like, I look at my pull fence out there. Are you leaving? Yeah. Okay. I love you. Where are you going?
Garbage.
Okay. Can you make sure you eat something?
I'm gonna go get food.
You are? Okay. I love you. Be careful. All right, I'll talk to you when I'm done. Be careful. I love you. Goodbye. You don't see them much at this age. He's like, he came home from baseball, took a shower, he's leaving again. You know? It's my last year homeboy. It's so sad. So I'm leaving some black, like, cracks in the wood, okay? So you can leave that there. So this one, I kind of covered them, and I'm going to show you how to put them in. And then this one, I'll leave some, okay? Because I started out with my wonky brush. Okay, this is his last year in high school. So sad. The house is so empty already because they're so busy, you know, at that age. You know, it's always something they're running for. Okay, I love to make wood. Like, I could just keep going. Let me see if this light's like too... Oops. Can you guys see this okay? Is the light like bouncing off this real funky? Let me turn one of these off. That might be a little bit better. Go here. Again, if you're new to us, whenever I'm live, it only shows me the last 5 comments. And so if I'm missing it, a little bit of white. So you need a couple different shades in here, okay? And a lot of times too, be careful putting too much color in your wood in the background if you want it to, like, the background to be very subtle and you don't want, you know, people's eye to go back there. So you got to be careful with that as well. I'm trying to think, there was a wood painting. I remember that I wanted everybody to have it pretty dull. And so I would walk around in the class because, you know, some were getting really bright. I can't remember which one it was, but I was like, you just don't want your eye just to go to the background. So think of that whenever you're painting something, because if your eye goes directly to something, take another look at it to see what you should do, because you want someone to look at your painting overall first, you know, and then go back and look at all the cool things in it, you know. But first glance, you don't want eye to go like right to something. So then you can go and you can get, say if you wanted, you know, some of that burnt sienna lilies in here, you can go and add that to the wood. So you can really change up your color. Like you can make mahogany colors, you can make oak. It's totally up to you, you know. But I love making fences on a black canvas, as you can tell. And so what I would do next is I would take, you know, a flat brush, and you can go and change this in here. You know, you can go and make this bigger, like your slat bigger. And then I'm going to show you how to highlight your wood as well, because I like to highlight the edges like coming in from the slats right here. Okay. So you can put that, you know, back in like that, all the way down. And you can have a perfect edge if you wanted to. Like you could take your time and just, you know, go down and make it a little bit more perfect. But I generally don't on any of my wood. But what I do is I'm going to get, don't worry, I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to get my 1/2 inch flat. I love how you do your wood. Thanks so much, Lynn. I appreciate it. I know I watched my granddaughter for 6 years now. She's going to school. Sad for me, but happy for her. Yeah, I know it's hard. Make good choices, right, Katrina? Listen, he's a good boy. I have to tell you, I hear it from his friends and his parents. He's the one that will drive people. He's a good boy. I'm so fortunate, you know, just like the other day, you know, he's like, I'm going to be a little bit late. I need to drive some people home. He's very, you know, I don't know, he's so responsible. He's been like that his whole life. And I don't know if it's because of everything he went through when he was little. He had to mature so early, you know, like I'm using a little bit of white going through that illness. So it like, he had to be like an adult at 7. But he was always never needed anything. Like he got himself ready, he did all some homework, he never complained. Like he's a good kid. I hope that he doesn't go too far for college. I know he probably needs to go, you know, south for his back, you know, too, because he has metal all through his back. And so he struggles with that as well. He's been like the weatherman for, you know, with his back since he was little. And that's what I mean about don't let like your eye, like I'm going to get a little bit of brown and dull that down, okay? Don't let your eye get drawn to this. Don't let it get too bright. So if you started getting really dark like that, I would take some black and brown. By the way, I love black, brown, and white. The color that makes, like that ashy color, always is very nice as well. But I do like to highlight, you know, on the edges of the wood. And then I also like to, you know, put some more cracks in here. I'm going to show you how to put the black back in also. You could put knots in your wood if you wanted to get really detailed. I'm going to make sure that's not heavy. So if you can't get a really nice line with your flat brush, go and do this with your script liner. Then you can highlight some of these edges as well. So if you want to give it like that ashy look, or like, you know, the wood splitting a little bit, you know, you can do something like this, you know. And I always go and highlight like the other side here just a little bit too. And then what I would do too is I dry brush a little bit more white. I like to like layer it up. But yeah, I'm fortunate both my kids with that, you know. And Boyd also has like allergies like me, so he doesn't try too much. So I'm so lucky with that too. You know, he knows. So far so good, knock on wood, you know. Really lucky in this regard. I think that, you know, God knows that I can't take anything else after that, and losing Mark and stuff, like, you know. Maybe he knows your limits. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so I'm not going to go the whole way down. This is really bright, looks like, because of all the lights around here, but it's actually not really bright. Let me turn one of those off. I'm going to show you that up close, and then I'm going to show you how to see how the dark looks like it's down in a little bit further. So I'm going to pull a little bit more black, and I'm going to go right in here, and you can darken, like, use like the areas that are already a little bit dark and scuff. Every single time you are doing this, so remember in your head, like, I'm lifting off, I'm lifting off, I'm lifting off. But you can start making that really look weathered if you start building this up. But don't take like really heavy black. See how I'm pulling this off to the side? Tiny, tiny bit, all right? And highlight it just a little bit, okay? So we have that. And then I go a little nuts, like if I'm, like, there's some I won't touch that again, and that's it, because I want my eye to go back there. But if the wood is like a huge part of the painting, like that beach scene, I go and I'll dry brush, you know, some of these edges and build up some edges a little bit more, you know. So I'll do things like that. But see how much adding those dark, you know, those little dark edges in there make a difference. So I'm going to, I will post when I do. Oh, good, good, good. How do you make the knots in the boards? Deborah, I primed a black canvas and cannot wait to do one of these paintings. Yay! That's so awesome. I feel like it needs something hanging on to it. I don't know what, but something. I must have missed something. I'm missing something. I don't know. So we're just going to keep using the same canvas here. So what I'm going to do, well, yeah, I can do some knots. I can do some knots if you want. So they're all just a little bit different. And so, like, generally I start out with like a circle. Let me get a round brush. Do I have all my brushes with me right here that I use normally? I don't see them all. I think I might have to go to the sink because I just washed brushes right before this, so I might have to. And then I'll do a couple of knots because, you know, they're very easy to do loosely. So let me go to my sink real quick because I'm missing my round brush and stuff like that. Not there. You know how you like to use the brushes that you use all the time? Let me see where I put them. So right before this, I was like trying to eat in between everything. I'll just use something else. You know, I love like my Princeton brush and stuff. I don't know. Okay, so for a knot, what you can do is you can just take a little bit of black. First, you're gonna get it in black, okay? So say I want a knot like here. I'm gonna go like this. And then it could be any shape and size, okay? But you wanna, like, it's kind of like there's cracks coming out from most knots like this, okay? So you can make some big, some small. I may have another one where the darkest shade in it is like black and brown. So, let's see, maybe put one over here. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna highlight some areas in here, all right? So you're gonna get that. I kind of like, I try to go with like what organically forms whenever I'm low lighting and highlighting wood, you know? I'm gonna make this one a little bit bigger. Okay. And then what you can do is you can take some of your other colors, like you can take your yellow ochre, or if you're using, you know, gold in here, you can use that as well. But you're going to usually have to wait until it's a little drier, but you're going to put a little bit of color in here, and you're gonna leave like the darkest color around the edge, okay? You're gonna get a little color on the inside. You're gonna have to build it up just a little bit, okay? So it's still wet, but I'm going to add a little bit of highlight, maybe around an edge, okay? And so since this is like a very loose impressionistic piece of wood, like I don't have a lot of detail to it, I'm not gonna add a ton of detail to this either, but I grabbed a little bit of white, and I wanna give the impression that this is like a little raised up right here. So it's a tiny bit of white, I have a round brush, and I'm gonna make it look like it's lifted up a little bit right there, okay? And then what I'll do is I'll get a little bit, maybe I'll take my beige. If you put a little white in your raw sienna, it's gonna make beige. I might, you know, put a little bit of a lip here. I might, you know, a script liner would work fine right here too for a very fine look. This brush is a little frayed. Do I even have my script liner here? My brushes are missing. Let me see. I was at the bar, and so my husband helped me move everything back in here, and I'm not quite sure where all my brushes are. That's not good. So my script liner is in there, and also my like round flat brushes. It's the first time I'm missing them. I don't know where they got set. That's so odd. So you need a script liner to do very fine lines like that, but it'll give you an idea. But you just want to, you know, build up your color just a little bit. I probably want a little bit more on my knot. And of course your knot colors, you want to be like other colors that are in your, you know, in your wood. You know, you don't want to do this like a different color, of course. So then I'm going to highlight maybe on the inside of that a little bit, and maybe, so this is a terrible brush. It's a little frayed. I'm trying to think, like, where did they go? That's what happens when you're rushing. I feel like I have a pretty good memory, but then when you're rushing, like, you're like, oh, I don't know. So you can do, you know, sometimes if you look at wood, you're gonna have like little like U's and things. So you want to, you know, take a look at that. My suggestion is to, anytime you're making something, look it up. Like if you can't see it in person, take the time to go online and Google it. and Google like an actual photo of that, not someone else's painting of it, which can come up and you can get inspired from it or get inspired by colors, things like that. But get your own thought process on like how the light hits it, what the shape is. Like, take your time to do that, because you're gonna see colors that inspire you, and you're gonna see where highlights are and lowlights are and things like that. Okay, does that help? So, and sometimes I just do things like this. Now this wood looks a lot better if you have a lot more creases in it and cracks and stuff, if you're gonna add knots, so like I would definitely have like more, lines through it. I wouldn't have it as smooth. But there's some that just have like, there's so many knots. Like you have areas that just have like a kind of like a U, and then it'll have a few lines in it as well. And so then you would like highlight an edge of that, pulling that through. And then you go back with your little bit of your white or tan. And I have to find my brushes. It's gonna drive me crazy. Okay, so then you can go back and highlight some of those. But there's the like crisscross, big cracks. So hopefully that helps with that. Let me see if I missed anything. And let me see. Hi, Cindy. How are you? You didn't miss anything. Just looks so real. I want to hang something on it like a hat or a coat. Ah, I get it. I'm slow sometimes, Katrina. Sorry. Dry brushing is my favorite style of painting. Lynn, mine too, as you'll see in a lot of the tutorials, for sure. Okay, so we have that. So let's work on a fence. Do you want to do a little bit of a fence? This is going to look very insane. So we can put a fence on here. I only highlighted to here as well. But let's do a little bit of a fence, because I have to tell you, and you can add any colors to these, by the way. You can add gold to this as well. You can make this like a reddish color. You can make different brown tones. You can make this, white fences, or you make with gray. Like, and you're gonna see, I'm gonna do a little bit of that deck with you as well, I think. But let's do the fence, and I'll do a little bit of the deck. I'll try not to keep you like 10 years. Oh, thanks, Lynn. Cindy, how are you doing? How's everything? Okay, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna draw a fence first. Let's just, I'm gonna put it up at the top a little bit. Okay, so say this is our, here's our ground. Our ground is now up here, okay? And let's just do a little bit, like, let's do the post, like, kind of like we have with the cat. So I like these old, like, rickety looking, like, fences, so like you might have like a little bit, they're wonky, they're rickety. You could do this with like wire in between too. Like you can do like a fine line for wire for fences like this also, instead of like doing the wood in between. You can do this like nice and wonky. It goes in so fast. It's another thing, like I could paint wood all day. Like I like doing that as well. Once you get this into, like, you always add some grass. You can add a little bit of foreground, background, things like that. Anytime I'm painting wood on a white canvas, I do black it out first. This is where I have, like, in the other painting, I have the cat's butt is sitting right here, and then the tail's like up through here, so in case you're wondering why this is like this shape here, I was just gonna make it kind of like the cat, like he's going up there. So we're gonna be doing that next week. Hubby is gone till tomorrow. I got nothing but time. I love that, Lynn. I love that. I know. I listen every day. I squeeze in painting wherever I can. And even when I know I should be painting, like my body's done, like I love it that much. Like I wanna, and my husband will be like, I take everything down to the wire. So we want a little bit brighter towards the top. If you're getting white, you want to put it in the white, you want to tap it off, okay? 1/2-inch flat brush. But I'll take everything down to the wire, because I'll be like, oh, let me just try to get this in real quick. I do that all the time. I'm sure, and he's such a patient man, but I'm sure he probably wants to choke me sometimes, because I'm always like, yeah, just wait a second. Let me get this in, but I love it so much. And I feel like there's just so much to still paint. Like, I think in the studio, we're trying to figure out how many paintings we have in the studio of different paintings. And I think there's 550 or so. Some guesses are more. And, but I still feel like we need so much. There's so many more things we need to paint. Now I'm going to leave a little bit of the black, so I don't have to come back through here. So it would be shadowed right underneath the cat's butt, and and then it's going to be darker down here towards the bottom. So you need a little bit of color, let it get a little bit darker, okay? Depending on where your light's hitting, you're also like, in the painting that we're going to do together, the light is literally right in the center because of that big giant moon. So what I did is I took a little bit of white and I scuffed it starting from the sides in, okay? Because I feel like the light's going to be coming in this way, all right? So that's the way that I put that in. And then I come back and I do that a few times. And then if you lose some of your darkness in there, you can always put it back in. And so you can always get like a little bit of dark brown to put up towards the top, not just have, you know, black there for your shadow. Same thing down at the bottom. All right. And again, if you lose your like cracks or your weathered look, go back in. Well, it's a little much. Go back in with black and just like scuff it in. And then you can highlight that a little bit with some, you know, some brighter shades as well. So if that has a big crack in it, I wipe off my brush, by the way, on my paint towel. I'm not washing it ever while I'm doing this, because I don't want to get water in my brush. Once I get all of my pieces of wood in, then I go back and I decide, like, where do I want more highlights? Where do I want more lowlights? Like, I feel like this doesn't even have enough color, maybe because it's so washed out with the lighting, but I feel like it's pretty grayed down, so I would go and put some of my raw sienna back in there. Okay, then I'm going to go over to this other post. Let's get some, this one maybe we'll add some, I didn't do it in the painting we're going to do next week, but maybe some bronze gold so you can see what that looks like. So I'm going to go here. I might make this one look like a little split towards the top. Okay, so I'm going to scuff all this in. Every single stroke is lifting off. Don't come down to the bottom until you barely have any paint, okay? Then I'm going to get my white and my raw sienna first, and we're going to build it up. So the light's going to hit this side of the pole first, or, you know, piece of wood first, all right? So we're going to go here. I'm going to kind of skip around. My pressure is going to come off as I'm going over this side because the light is barely hitting over here. Well, it's a little bright. We'll see. We can dull it down real easy if we need to. I'm going to wait until I get it all in. Sometimes you press harder and some of that paint just comes out, you know. And we're going to use the same thought process as we did with this cart right here. With leaving the shadow, we're going to do that on the fence in between, okay? But I always like to get like the base down of everything and then go back and highlight in the low light. So I kind of like quickly get it in, and then I go back and I play with it once it's all in, okay? I want to get that up at the top there, but I don't like that bright white mark. So what I do is wipe off my brush, get a little bit of black, and then you can cut into it. We'll take a round brush and we'll go on the top of that afterwards, okay? Because you'll need a round brush to make that look like it's a little, you know, some light bouncing off of some little tiny pieces at the top. Okay, so I'm going to go in between. I can do my other, let me just get in between here because I don't want to keep you forever. I want to show you something else. So I'll do this side instead of that whole side. Let me go this way, all right? Again, it's going to be a little bit brighter towards the top, all right? So a little bit brighter. So let's just scuff some brightness. Remember, you're going to lift off when you're coming, you know, to the other post. So I'm going to get my browns, a little bit of white, and I'm going to tap off, okay? So I'm going to scuff. When I'm starting underneath it and I come back up towards the top, my cat Lucy is enjoying your painting. She put her paw on the screen a few times. How cute is that, Gretchen? Aw, that's too cute. But when I'm starting down here, so when I come back with a different shade, you know, a few different paints on my brush, and I want to go a little darker, I come up towards the top and take my pressure off. And then that way it still lets some of that light color show through, okay? And so I'm going to scuff down here. I'm going to lift my pressure off as I'm coming over to the sides because we want that a little bit shadowed, okay? I'm going to come over here. Don't have a lot of paint when you're going here and here, okay? We'll come back and we'll highlight this as well, but let's get our base in, okay? So we're going to get a little bit lighter shade towards the top. All right, so I'm going to do here. And I love, like, so I'm just going to go back and touch this one more time while I have it because I had a little too much paint on my brush here. I want to get rid of it. So I'm going to wipe it off on my paint towel. I love with having that big moon there and building up, you know, the highlights on the fence. It's a cute little painting to create. I think they're going to like it in the studio. We have that class in the studio as well, so I hope you do like it also. So I'm going to scuff this. I'm going to leave some of my darkness showing through. To find my script liner, that's how I put my highlights on. So I'm going to turn it back around this way so I can look and see where I get my perspective when I turn it back up. So I'm going to scuff a little right here. I didn't realize my phone was on. Sorry about that. And I'm surprised it's the first time it went off. So it's a surprisingly quiet evening. Let me see. Okay, so I'm going to pull out some white, and this is when I start dry brushing and, you know, building this up. So when you're doing this, you want to intentionally leave some of your dark areas. You see that? I'll hold this up a little closer, okay? So when I'm scuffing it again, I'm going to make it brighter towards the side because my moonlight would be coming down through here. I'm going to go back and I'll brighten some of these like towards the top here and the left side of this pose, the right and the left on this. You definitely need to leave the darkness in here, okay? So when I'm grabbing that white highlight, see how little? Like it's tiny bit of paint, tiny bit, okay? And then when I'm scuffing it, it's a lightest touch, barely touching. And that's something like that comes with time, learning like how, you know, how hard you're touching. Now this, when you're doing this, the brush is straight up and down. Generally, when you're dry brushing, we're using the back side of the brush like this, but this is straight up and down when you're trying to get these, you know, these highlights in like this, okay? So is everybody okay on that? I'm still a little lost with the whole, like, hold on. Like, where could they be? Huh. My husband went downstairs, so I have no idea. Hi. I have no idea where he put my brushes at. I feel bad, like, let me see, because I wanted to get my script liner. Like, let me see. Let me pull. My pants are, like, sliding down. Sorry about that. Dogs are sleeping on the rugs. Let me see if I have another one sitting here. I do have another one sitting here. So we're okay. But I'm missing like a whole handful of brushes. Oh, here they are. They're on another table. So I had no idea. They're all right here. Okay. Let me see if I missed anything. Yes. Hi, Luann. How about a fence going the other way, like away from you? So you can do, I'm going to draw that for you, Phyllis, and then you would do the same exact thing. She loves watching videos. That's so cool. I'll draw you a fence going like away from you because it just gets smaller. So let me do that really quick, okay? So let me see if I have any other canvas that I don't have much on. Okay, so let me get this canvas. We did our broom the other day. Did you guys see this live on how to make a broom? Like how to paint a broom on the HQ page? So I did that live. But this is also wood. But see, it's smoother. You could put cracks in this too, like in the handle. So you can do that as well. But if you're doing a fence that's going away, okay, so say this is like right in front of you, all right? You have your wonky fence, all right? So we have like the top is like this, you know, there's your ground. Well, actually, I have to make this thinner because of the size of our post. All right, so we're gonna start turning a corner here. It's like it's going back. So your angle on the fence up here is going to go up this way a little bit if it's going further away, okay? So your angle will go there, all right? And then these are gonna start getting like smaller as you go back, okay? So when you're making this, even if it's wonky, it still needs to get just a hair smaller as it's going away from you, because things are smaller when it's going away, okay? So the technique is exactly the same, but your fence is getting smaller and your angles are just shifted a little bit, you know? So they're gonna just be a little bit shifted as you're going up, okay? And away, up and away. I sound like, I don't know what that is. But if you wanted it wonky like that. But I've also done, this is also too thick. So as you're going up, you want it to get a little thinner and a little shorter as you're going away, okay? But your posts aren't going to be flat anymore. They're going to, you know, be a little bit tilted, okay? But, and then this one would come down and be bigger. But also, you can make this like a, does that make sense? And by the way, when you're doing this as well, this is going to be brighter in the foreground. As you're going away, it's going to get darker and kind of fade off as it's going in the back. Is anything like brighter is closer to you. So remember that, like your coloring has to get a little bit darker as you go back. The other thing is with fences as well is you can do this post that we're talking about. And then you can do like, a lot of people use gel pens for this in the studio. Make a nice fine line and make a wire fence. And you could even like put like a little barbed wire on it. Not quite that big, but you can put some barbed wire on it. But you can do these posts like this and then add barbed wire. So I have like some with barns and mountains that have like these barbed wire fence in there too. And so you can do that also. So all you have to do is know how to do your wood. On the barbed wire, what I do, let me get my script liner. You're welcome, Phyllis. Anytime. Perspective, that's right. Okay, so I would get my script liner. If you don't have a script liner, I do suggest this brush because it makes very fine, thin lines, okay? So and you have to water down your paint usually about 2 to 3 times when you're using the script liner. So I do a couple things with this. So I would roll it, you know, you want to flatten it out, all right? I generally do that on my hand because I'm, you know, I go by feel a lot because when I'm by myself, I paint a little faster. And so this is definitely too thick for barbed wire. So I would come back and I would cut that up with a little bit of black. So it's a good way to tell you how to cut something in half too. So also I would wash off my brush and I would get just white, okay? Roll it to a point, just white. And you would go and just highlight where you would think that this like would be raised a little bit on the bounces, on the bumps, okay? Told you I have no like words by the end of the day. So like here, this is raised up a little bit right here, so you put a little bit of white right there, like the light would be hitting it. You can put these little, you know, X's on here as well if you wanted to. But if you feel like something's too thick, all you have to do is water down your black, roll it to a point, okay? And then you would just go, you know, cut this just like this and make it like a little thinner. So don't ever worry painting with acrylics. If you're new to painting with acrylics, everything is so forgiving, so forgiving. So don't ever worry about that. But this looks really nice on a farm, you know, doing that barbed wire also. So that's a nice thing to do. I'm going to show you some of the, like how I would do, and I'm not positive yet. I was going to paint this just with you, but I need to study what I want to do with the old, how I want to do this with the old dock, like how I want my angles. I'm thinking I want this way. Although I could black it out afterwards if I wanted to change it. But so this is going to be one of your paintings. And thinking about the angle. But I want for this, I'm going to want grays. But I will be pulling in a little bit of my like Van Dyke brown into my gray here because, and I want a little bit darker to start because I'm not positive. I like to study, like I said, what I'll do is I'll study old docs on water, and so I'll Google that, and I want to look at them. Like I want to look at how, you know, how they are, and like with it, and I'll put gray, like because I want to see a gray one, like weathered, or you can put weathered, but you want to do a search, you know, for a little bit of water. I don't dry brush these until I get them in a little bit more, but and also they'll look really different based on if they're in the daylight or, it's getting dark. And I also want to look and see the width of how I want to put my slats. You definitely want your slats a little bit like wider than the chair. For something like this, I'm thinking the edge has to be like, the light is going to hit on this side more. Okay, so we have, let me get some grays in. I'm going to come back with, I'm trying to envision it is what I'm thinking about with the gray deck. But the reason why my mind says gray is A, this sits out in the sun like all the time. I don't know why I'm doing these lettering things today. I don't usually do that. But it sits out in the sun all day. And then also, so it's a different color than the chair. Okay, so I'm gonna take out this. These are the chalk lines I put in there just to show you like what direction I thought I was gonna go with for the wood. But also, this is the other thing I do when I study stuff. Do I see another color in there? It's not just all gray. You're gonna see other colors and things. So even if it's like mainly gray, it could have, like a light blue hue somewhere, or something like that. So that's why I don't want to put all this in just yet. I'm just gonna put in a couple slats to show you. What I do to get a better angle when I'm doing some things is I turn it, as you know. And what I'll do is I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna put in some white, some white highlights. So this starts looking like it's weathered, it's cracked. I think that this gray is gonna go in like, oh, so easy. My lowlights are probably gonna be black and brown. And let me see if you can see that very well. I think this light right here is too bright, like right around the edge. So I'm going to go here, and you would make it like towards the end, even if you have to pull something this way, then you go back this way. You can always put your low lights back in too, or use a round brush right here. This is where I'd start dry brushing a little bit more, is once I get that in, I would do it. I would start looking at like, where are the natural like raised areas showing up, like where, I'd go on the lip of where it's dark, but I'd keep building up like where the light is going to hit on the end of the dock. And I probably go, oh, I know what colors would be good in here, like blue steel, don't you think? So again, you'd start like there's going to be a separation in between, the two pieces. So you would go here. It's always nice when you're making like, boards if they're the width of your brush, but this is going to be more like 3/4 to 3/4 to an inch instead of a 1/2 inch. But every single stroke is lifting off, starting and stopping at different places. Don't like start and stop at the same place, okay? And then I do think that blue steel is probably going to be, I'm going to put this back down this way. Blue steel is going to be in here. But I actually can, I can envision this, like I can see it. And I like to make you know, fall reflections too. I love the fall leaves. I promised my parents I'd finally go up to their camp in Pymatuming. They have a house across from the lake. I've never stayed up there in fall, and it is so beautiful. There's just trees everywhere. So this year I'm gonna go. Make me go. I can paint by the lake with you guys. Wouldn't that be great? I was gonna go up this summer, but it was really, you know, it was hot up there. Hot, hot, hot. And then I would keep getting my white and I would build this up here. So I'm gonna wipe off my brush, grab some white, and I'm gonna go, like, I would take some time to really put some. I'm looking forward to doing this. I'll have to put my black line back in there because I scuffed it a little. But I think it's gonna be really fun to put together. I do think that that's the angle that I want, like where I want the planks, I think. Any suggestions? I love your suggestions, so any suggestions, feel free. But I'm gonna add some other colors into those boards. I don't want just gray, you know? But I also want like the light, almost the light, like the sun just went down maybe, I'm thinking, and the light coming across the lake and hitting this, you know, almost like, it could be a little misty, I'm not sure. Autocorrect plein air. That's right, Carolyn. That's right. We could do that. Blue steel's a beautiful color. Yes, I love it. I ordered this brush based on your recommendation and love it. I'm so glad. Aren't you shocked? Let me go back to the price of this brush and how nice it is. Like, I'm shocked. And so I'm going to get, you know how we're working on our brush line, but I want it very similar to this. The only thing that I don't like about this, I can tell you, I like it for a while. Sounds like fun. A lake in the fall is beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. Is that you probably need to take pretty good care of these because I've been going through them quickly. They're opening up and getting a little wider. You know, I'm always painting on the run, but I do wash them. Not all the time do I dry them out when I should. Most of the time I do, but they're getting a little thick. Like I noticed that they're starting to pile up here. And so, not like super quick, but I paint a lot too. So, if I'm using one for weeks, it will, although it's worth a couple dollars, however, like, it works beautifully. The stiffness, it's so perfect. And so I agree with you. I'm so glad you like it. Yay. But does anybody have any questions? I think we covered lots of wood today. There's lots of wood knots, the cart, the fence, the deck. Any questions? And so if you're new to us, every single thing that you learn is going to, you know, at some point apply to something else. You are going to learn to look at things and build it. And I say build it because you're building a painting, I think, you know. So, and if you ever need anything, like if you're new to us, I hope you know that apparently I wasn't seeing a lot of, oh, here's a couple. Let me see. Oh, I'm glad. Is it Mira or Myra? My daughter has a friend named Mira, so they're both so pretty. Oh, thank you so much, Lynn. You're so nice. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Both Lynn's. But if you need anything, you let me know because that's what I'm here for. Like you can send a screenshot to our email if you get stuck and I can give you the steps to move forward in something. So let me know. But with every painting, you're going to gain more tools and you're going to be able to build paintings like crazy. We see it happen a lot. So you'll see it in this group also. So I'm excited to be working with you, and I'm excited for all our new members too, so thanks for joining us. We always have fun with you. We're going to be painting, so here's the painting. We're starting this next Tuesday. So Kaylee, I'll let you know, it might be uploaded already. She's uploading things right now, but you're going to get the stencil and supplies list for this. Very little, you know, few colors in this, but I could tell you to use what you have. So we just have Van Dyke Brown, raw sienna. You can use golden if you want. We have cad yellow, white. That's about it. Well, no, I have steel blue on the clouds. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to make clouds with the filbert brush. Very faint clouds like that. All right. But the stencil, this is not a 12 by 12 black. You can make it on any square painting or any painting you like. And I cannot wait for the scarecrow face. Oh, listen, that might be uploaded right now. Do you want me to look at my messages? It might be in your membership already. And then I'm going to put it in the store too. And we're going to do, I wanted to do, because I loved it so much, I wanted everybody to like be able to paint it. So we're going to do a, for our other members, like Gnome Club and Painting the Month Club, it'll be $5 with your 50% off. And hello, Scarecrow with Birdie is uploaded to the vault and to the store. So it is available right now. So go get it. So the Scarecrow, I took my time when I did it. It's a longer video. You can definitely make it quicker by not like dry brushing as much. And you can add a little bit more solid paint if you want. But let me see. But yeah, they're all ready. So if you're in HQ, the Scarecrow's ready. I'll post it and let everybody know. So I hope you love him. I can't wait to see him. I did keep one here. I'll show it for those of you that haven't seen it. I have one here. Oh, I have that crazy skeleton guy here too. I have a bunch of stuff sitting here. So you guys know what happened with this, right? With the, I was going to do like a gnome scarecrow and like, skeleton. And this is what you got. It's so crazy. You're welcome. You're welcome. Like, so yeah, bye, right? I just take off. I'm sorry. This is that Starry Night pumpkins that people were asking about before. So I had this here. This is my very first Starry Night painting that I did for a class that I totally forgot I even had. But this is what you have in the vault right now. Let me take the email off. Hold on. Let me take it off. Okay, there you go. So this is what you have. You have your Scarecrow. So I can't wait to see yours. Do any colors you want. Learning to make straw is so much fun. I love it. And I think that's all I have with me. That's it. So let me know if you need anything. At all. And I can't wait to see yours. Okay. So send me your scarecrows. I can't wait to paint the kitten in the moonlight. We'll upload all those stencils. Did she say she uploaded that? Let me see. Yeah, that's not uploaded yet. It'll be uploaded soon. I told her that I'd like to have it by Friday. So you guys have time to draw your canvas out for Tuesday. Okay. So thanks for coming on tonight. I had a great time with all of you. As always, you're fantastic. And then I'll see you again soon. Let me know if you need anything at all and check your vaults. Okay? Talk to you later. Bye.